So to start, my name is Nia McAllister, and I'm the Public Programs Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora in San Francisco. And I usually start these events by grounding us in the space and the time that we're living in. And so it's essential to acknowledge the context and the environment we're navigating. Moad stands in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, as there are multiple pandemics killing us, including the ongoing systemic violence against Black people. We honor and mourn the senseless murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Jonathan Price, Casey Goodson Jr., Patrick Warren Sr., and so many others who've lost their lives from police brutality and racial injustice, including those whose names we do not know. We want to acknowledge that, unfortunately, as this list of names continues to grow, we will continue to say them and bring awareness to the fight for real justice for the global Black community. I also want to acknowledge the spaces that we're occupying. And though we're gathered virtually, many of us are settlers, immigrants, or descendants of those forcibly brought to this continent. And our institutions were founded upon exclusions and erasures of the indigenous peoples whose lands we're located on. It is with deep respect that Moad acknowledges that even in a virtual space, our people, our work, and our network servers are all on Native lands. And so we thank the indigenous peoples of the Bay Area and beyond who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. So as I said at the start, we have a very, very full lineup this evening. So many incredible poets and musicians joining us this evening. So I'm going to give a very brief overview of the flow of the event, and then we'll jump into it. So I ask that folks who are not reading, please keep your microphones on mute throughout the event. But I encourage you to really use the chat and the reactions to affirm all of our performers this evening. We're going to begin the event with the first portion of our open mic readers. Each person will have 4 minutes to share, and I do ask that you respect the time and space of everyone, as it is a very, very long lineup today, which is wonderful. About midway through, or a little bit earlier than that, we'll have our feature Michael Warr perform, and then we'll continue the event with the remaining open mic readers. And I will be putting the lineup in the chat now, and just to give folks a heads up of when they'll be going on the mic. If for some reason someone's not in the space, I will make sure to circle back with them if they join and add them back into the lineup. But for now, the lineup is set, and we have a really wonderful group of folks with us. So with that, I would like to introduce S.K. Williams to start us off.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm S.K. Williams here, also known as Gary, a woman poet. I'm a Garifuna woman from Belize, and so I write a lot about that. And tonight I'm going to share one poem that's very partially written in my language, and I will interpret as I go. My first poem, though, I'm going to sneak in a little bit. This is a poem that my son wrote. My son is 17, and he wrote this poem, and he sent it to me a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm going to start out with that. I want to dedicate our reading, my reading, to Toni Morrison and Audre Lorde, because today is their birthdays, and they're two women that I highly, highly admire. So I'm going to start with this first poem. It's called "I Have Black" by Nathan Golokter. He's my son. My son is half Jewish and half Garifuna, so I call him a Garifa Jew. Here's this poem. He says, "I have Belizean, I have Jewish, I have different corners of the earth. I have pierogies and cassava. I have the ice-cold lakes of Poland and the warm beaches of Belize. I have black. I don't have the power to change it. I was born this way." And that's Nathan's very short poem. I hope that he's going to keep writing. My next piece is a poem that is sort of my hair. I do a lot of work around hair, Black women in hair, but women and aesthetics all together. And this poem is one that I wrote a long time ago for my transformation. It's called "Friend Hair, the Unveiling of a Lie," L-Y-E. So this is how long ago that was written, because relaxers were lie-based at the time. Friend Hair, the Unveiling of a Lie. Hair stands up on my head with a will all her own, in curlicues and springs having sprung from the wells of a wondrous origin. But I put hair down, because when I look in the mirror of my oppressed mind, I see a myriad of miserable characters like Buckwheat and Jemima in Amos and Andy, with curlicues and white smiles plastered across dark black faces. I run, hollering in horror at this African sight that is me, focusing on my Western interpretation of self. The salient solution is a mixture that is lie-based, that tells a lie, that will put this unruly hair in her place, this arrogant, willful mass that dares to stand up and declare to the world, yes, I am here with a personality of my own, do not put me down. Do not squelch my will like your will has been squelched. I do not succumb easily. I am the truth. This being shouted into my brain from the top of my head, to which I said, from whence does this voice come? Over and over again. It is friend Hare, came the response. Would I lie to you? I exhibit my honesty. You must not abhor that which you know is true. Hare must be put down. She will not be allowed to exhibit this wanton behavior. So every 6 weeks, without a hitch in my motion, I put Hare in her place, my form of devotion, standing in front of my mirror of lies, leading myself to believe that this was truly me. The soft, silky threads weaving their poisonous position atop my head were coming from a direct root. Bouncing and behaving, easily managed. Fix this mess. The mess had been fixed, and the comb was gliding easily through. Then one day I woke, choked with the stench of the lie that had riddled my brain, costing me more than the 60 or 70 hard-earned dollars I had spent to prevent the unveiling of the lie. It had caused me misery and pain. The myth that had become me, or had me become the myth, was staring me straight in the eye, proving to be the lie that I had embodied. And so with that dread, I took a razor to my head, and immediately I was freed, and I became the me that you now see. I became the me that you now see. That's that one. Friend Here, The Unveiling of the Lie. And, I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to read my last piece because the other two are quite long. This piece is called Belief, and it's written partially in Garifuna. It's a chant for the ancestors because we believe it. We practice ancestor reverence, and we believe that our well-being is directly connected to the ancestors. Here we go. Contemplating my ancestors and my cultural legacy. Chuluhali ugani merigange lao merimayatu Virginia Tonisani. Gweni dunumuti nuguchi aniseto letaruguti Virginia. Aloha murusu dagagudon. Towe ba Virginia ahe michwa ma hamurie ha uwe ha. Mafia tu Virginia hana gubida. Towe ba lubeti. Hanugubon. Oh, towe ba Virginia Tonisani. Hanugubo gubida la duga mafieni. I have heard from America that my daughter Virginia is ill. I dreamt the other night that Aniseto, my father, Virginia's grandfather, wants an offering. Virginia will die unless she gives sacrifice to the ancestors. Virginia doesn't believe in Gubida. Gubida is, that's our Garifuna word for ancestors. So she will die. Oh, my daughter Virginia will die, taken away by Gubida because she does not believe. She does not respect them. Oh, my daughter Virginia will die. How can we teach our children to remember Gubida so they will always be protected? I heard from America that Virginia has gotten worse. So I went to Myra's house to call her on the telephone. I told Virginia about my dream, even though I knew she would laugh. And she did indeed laugh. Virginia has gone to America and learned the white man's ways and has forgotten her own. I must work hard to remind her that abandoning her culture will be to her detriment. Maybe I will give Shugu, as the Buye has suggested. Shugu is one of our ancestral reverence ceremonies. Buye is a wise man. Maybe I will give Shugu for the Buye, as the Buye suggested for Virginia. I will speak for her to the ancestors and beg their indulgence for my only child. I will invite the family and we will go to Chewecha. We will offer the food and beat the drums and call the Gubida home. Call them to come and protect Virginia and cure her. The Gubida came and they talked to us through Maria. They are very sad. They want Virginia to return from this exile. Tell her to come and feed us, they said. We are hungry for food from her. We want afu, we want bimekakule, we want hudutu and tikini, we want falmo and darasa. Tell her she must cook it with her own hands or she will explain to us face to face. I called Virginia once to relay Aniseto's message, but she laughed at what she calls my foolishness. She told me she was going into hospital the next day for her operation, and she will be fine afterwards. 2 days passed. I had dreamed of Aniseto on one of those days. He was standing over Virginia's bed. Then I was called to Myra's house. I had a telephone call from America. Gertrude was on the phone. Your daughter Virginia has died, she said. Oh, your precious daughter has died. I think it is because she laughed at the Gubida and did not believe in them. Oh, my daughter Virginia has died, I said to Myra. Oh, my precious child is gone. And I did not even get to hold her hand. And I did not even get to close her eyes. I did not get to comb her hair. I did not get to dress her. I have not seen my daughter Virginia in 10 years. She's only 30 and they will bring her home to me in a box. Oh, my daughter Virginia has gone, taken away by Gubida because she did not believe. I have lost her and her faith to that foreign land that does not know our souls, our Garifuna souls. The land of the white man has eaten my daughter. Oh, I am mistaken. She will not even be brought to me in a box, for she will be buried there. Myra told me she will be buried there for the lack of money, and I cannot even afford to go. I have not saved enough for my sales at the market, and no one will help me to pay my way. I cannot even afford to go, to hold my daughter's hand, to comb my daughter's hair, to close my daughter's eyes, to dress her body and kiss my sweet baby's cold lips for the last time, in the customary way. I have lost my child to the north. I have lost her to the cold lands. I have lost her to Gubida because she lost her way, the way of the ancestors, going to the white man's land. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much, SK, for starting us off with those poems and bringing in history so beautifully. Thank you so much. Next up, I would like to invite Uniqua Simmons. Welcome back.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. You can hear me? Okay, good evening. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to be reading some excerpts in reference to A Mom's Guide to Keeping It Tight. This came from a need of support for mothers, special needs, challenges, and successes. A Mom's Guide to Keeping It Tight. A mom's guide to keeping it tight, keeping it tight, keeping it tight. I'm a mother, I'm a mother. Sister, friend, I'm just me within. All day, every day, 24/7. I'm a mother. Are my kids gonna make it to heaven? I'm a mother, I'm a mother. You can't run for cover. Because there is no other. Resources I can't find. I can't find you. Is this a joke? Feeling like I'm in a choke. I'm a mother, and I won't run for cover. I'll keep it in. I'll stay in. I'll reach out. And this is another excerpt from the second piece. It's like I'm just staring into space, trying to erase familiar, unfamiliar places. It's like I'm just staring into space, trying to place everything that should not erase. And I can't stop the chase of unfamiliar place. Is strategize, strategize, time to realize. I'm pulling myself up, bootstraps tough. I'm a mother, and I won't run for cover. Help. In secret, I say help. Now it's time to bring it out. That's what I have. That's what I have. And I'll post my information, those that want to know more about my work and resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for both of those pieces. And I love the segue, both the first two poets speaking about motherhood. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Kevin Dublin. Welcome.
Thank you. So great to be here. I will be brief, and if possible, I'm actually going to open things up. But the poem is not my own. I'm just going to read two poems. One is mine, and this one that is Cole by Audre Lorde. Happy birthday, she and Toni Morrison. Cole by Audre Lorde. I is the total black being spoken from the earth's inside. There are many kinds of open. How a diamond comes into a knot of flame. How a sound comes into a word, colored by who pays what for speaking. Some words are open like a diamond on glass windows, singing out within the crash of passing sun. Then there are words like stapled wagers in a perforated book, buy and sign and tear apart, and come whatever wills all chances. The stub remains, an ill-pulled tooth with a ragged edge. Some words live in my throat, breeding like adders. Others know sun seeking like gypsies over my tongue to explode through my lips like young sparrows bursting from shell. Some words bedevil me. Love is a word, another kind of open. As a diamond comes into a knot of flame, I am black because I come from the earth's inside. Take my word for jewel in your open light. And I write these daily poems and do these little 6-minute sessions, and sometimes I'll link them. And this is probably going to be a part of a much longer uh, piece that's titled Mural, but this is a section. Last night, winter showers tore loose spider webs as their entrance. At 6:42 a.m., a mouse finishes biting off its own leg to escape a glue trap as an exit. Outside, the common raven lays her eggs as sun peeks slowly over the horizon. The light isn't enough to stir a foursome of raccoons passing an apple from an open lid trash can in the mist. This was a night meant for sleep, but I failed again. Eyes crash open over and over on the hour. How do you measure the time? And the number of black faces who look like mine, who lose twinkle after watching another black face die? How many unkindnesses, how many murders does it take to unjam a rainbow? Maybe mercy means it's possible to love everything that you hate. Yesterday, I saw a small wolf spider crawl atop my oak coffee table in a hush, each of its 8 legs pressing down and pushing forward to reach shadow at the edge. I saw it the way you notice moonbeams on ocean waves, faintly and only because the fold was just right. I've never disliked spiders, but I know they come to me to die. Today, January drizzle taps dry ginkgo leaves on street gutters of the bay. Nate on the corner of Market Street would say, if you look around and you ain't angry, then you ain't paying attention. I want a street to walk down in the city to call my own. I don't want to spend my dawns hoping, Lord, please don't let me end up a mural on Bill Street. City would zone it easily as they pulled me over. But this morning, yo, check the slope of this morning's illumination. The miracle of this elder tending hanging baskets on her balcony. Daisies and violets rested after catching a long nightfall. Thank you.
Thank you for both of those pieces. And that was absolutely beautiful. And thank you for also calling into this space our poetry ancestors, Audre Lorde and Toni Morrison as well. It's really lovely to gather with all of you on their birthdays as well. Next up, I would like to invite Wanda Blake up to the mic. Welcome, Wanda.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invite. I'm also in alignment with the word on the mothers. I'm a native of San Francisco, and there was an event at Ocean Beach, and I couldn't go, and I basically had a little childlike tantrum, and I took a nap. And when I woke up, this is the words that came out of my head. The middle passage as told by Imoja through Omilade, Wanda. I am the mother of the ocean and the mother to all of you. My children, I provided the water that was poured into the clay that gave you birth. I provided the fish in the water for you to eat. My moon was your light at night. You were taken on a journey across the sea. I was there. I am the mother of the ocean and the mother to all of you. I was there each and every day of your voyage across the sea. My emotions roared with each wave during the voyage. The rain was my tears blowing in the wind. You wanted to go back home. You fell into my arms when you jumped off of the ship. You fell into my arms when there were too many of you and they pushed you off of the ship. I hugged and held you close when your dead body was thrown in the sea. I'm the mother of the ocean and the mother to all of you. I know you wanted me to save you and take you back across the ocean to your home, but your home and your family had been taken and there was no village for your return. Your family had been stolen and enslaved by people who looked just like you. You found your new home in the ocean waters with me. I am the mother of the ocean and the mother to all of you. You ask, why, Imoja, why has this happened to us? Why were we taken, abused, tortured, and killed? Because, my children, what makes us weak makes us strong. You see, you are my children like the seeds of my favorite fruit, watermelon. One watermelon produces a lot of seeds. The watermelon is my belly and the fruit is my water, and you are the black seeds. You see, my children, those souls that were lost in the ocean gave birth for more of my children to survive. You are the ones that brought the watermelon across the seas. It is the survival of my children from the mental passage that has given strength to my children today. It is the souls of my children who lay with me in the ocean that gives faith to my children today. It is the remembrance of my children that lay with me from the middle passage that gives hope to my children today. I loved you then. I love you now. I am always here for you. Come to my waters. Talk to me. I am Imoja, the mother of the ocean, the mother to all of you born from the journey of the Middle Passage. Two things personally I want to say is she is truly the mother to all of us. And any ocean, anywhere in the entire world, you are welcome to go to her waters and talk to her and express what is in your heart and your spirit and talk to the mother of the ocean. And the last thing I'm gonna say, do not buy seedless watermelons. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much, Wanda, for that beautiful piece. Just the imagery in that was incredible. And I think so many takeaways and messages for all of us. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Yeva Johnson. Welcome, Yeva.
Thank you, Nia. I am so happy to be here. I have two poems, and I, as usual, do it with a little bit of music before and after. A different brand of racism, but the same pants. A week after I arrived at the reservation, assigned to a month on the pediatric outpatient ward, I don't know what prompted the nurse to overlook my Blackness, but she leaned in, figured it was us against them, and spewed some of the most evil stew about the Apache children I had just seen in the clinic. It was my first time to meet youngsters who were born here on this land and who did not speak English. Their parents translated and so could shelter their still tender ears from the nurse calling them dirty, nasty Indians. That's why they've got otitis. Maybe because there wasn't another Black person around for over 200 miles, this white nurse forgot and let one racist set of pants fall down to hold up another. And this poem is a revised poem called Heritage Lullabies. And I want to thank the poet who helped me work on this thing. Heritage Lullabies. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen, echoes in the alto, murmured memories of my mother in duet with my grandmother's deeper near tenor. Their music steadies me. I sing as I raise my own tiny brood. My foremothers prepared me for this Sisyphean task to teach the next generation how to lift the veils, those unasked for cloaks, and allow their spirits to roam free. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child consoles in those moments I clamor for their physical touch, that rough, soft maternal hand. They rose up radiant, but were struck down. So I am left with only the soul kisses and mitochondrial melodies of my mother and her mother, both departed too soon. These spirituals wrap around me, my baby bunting, tuneful consolation from every past mother who could not hold a grown daughter. These songs become arms lifting me so that I kiss the sun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. It's always wonderful hearing your words and your music. Thank you so much. So now I will be sharing just a couple of pieces and then introducing our featured poet for this evening. So this first piece is a new one entitled Blueprint. I believe in gathering sunshine hours, in holding softness under iron petals, in falling in love in search of new journeys. Every day, bridges are showing their abundance. Where two souls speak, the world feels like it's moving in the waves, almost as if we could dance in the sound of happiness. The most beautiful relationship is built outside of time. I am inspired by the infinite landscapes of your mind, the intimate spelling of our serene place, to be lovely, close together, breathing slow. I love building a common home with you. Thank you. And this next piece is, I couldn't pass over the opportunity to read a piece that I wrote that was inspired by Toni Morrison. And since it is her birthday, it feels appropriate to read this one. This is entitled, In the Day Diamonds Are in the Water. The only time the ocean cut me, I've led stories. They said, what a beautiful, yet terrifying thing it is to be free. They said, we have traveled years to bring you our names. We knew you'd forget them, or worse, never recognize them in the first place. They said, remember me, unfold your tongue, gather in your hand all the cities your foremothers birthed freedom in, scatter milkweed seeds in the wind and call us home. So waterlogged and weary, I bandage my wounds with diamonds and rise from seafoam memory, homebound. I've never been far from the page. How else to learn what moonlight looks like through blue-eyed promises? Oh, but to be Sonia, to be Tony, to be wind in a cotton field scattering marigolds. I wish I knew Arkansas clouds like I do the lines on a palm, like I do the recipe for forgiveness. Joy is memory in the refrain, magic too hopeful to stay hidden. See, the trick to befriending stories is listening after all. Yet sometimes belonging cannot be traced by tide lines or railroads carved out of the night sky, but rather dog-eared pages and overdue book finds. Having a library to owe things to makes one at home, right? So we write, we sing, we rename our story legacy before they claim we were never here in the first place. Find us on the page. As she said, this is the first battlefield we play on. Hear our words dance, and so we too leap into blissful surrender. And one day we will fly, and one day we will fly. Thank you. And thank you to the legacy of all the writers and poets that have come before us. It's now my honor to introduce our featured poet for this evening, Michael Warr. Michael Warr's books include A Poetry and Protest from Emmett Till to Trayvon Martin, and from Tiachucha Press, The Armageddon of Funk, and We Are All the Black Boy, and more. He is the recipient of the 2020 Berkeley Lifetime Achievement Award and is a San Francisco Library Laureate. Other honors include Creative Work Fund Award, Penn Oakland Josephine Miles Award for Excellence in Literature, Black Caucus of the American Library Association Award, Gwendolyn Brooks Significant Illinois Poets Award, and a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship. His poems are translated into Chinese by poet Chen Yu in their 2 languages, 1 community project. Michael is the former deputy director of the Museum of the African Diaspora and a board member of the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. With that, I am so honored to invite Michael up to the virtual stage. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. That open mic and Nia's reading really has me ready. I'm poetry prepared. But first, I want to acknowledge that I live, work, and create on land that is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Ohlone, Ramaytush, and Yaloma people. I also want to thank Nia and Moad for putting this together, and as well as the open micers, readers who have read so far. And we must have a common consciousness meeting that took place before this event, because my first poem is a very short piece about my mother, Gaynell Warr, and it's titled Black Star. And it's titled Black Star because of a photograph it's based on, which I will share with you before I read the poem. And when I first saw this photograph, my initial response was that she looks like a movie star. Still, though, she was ridiculed and teased because of her blackness, because of her very dark skin. And so this is a poem about beauty. And Chen Yu will recite the poem in Chinese, which she has translated as part of our 2 languages to one community project. And so this is the image. Black Star, Gaynell Warr, 1932 to 2015. She got called Shinola outside her name, as slight against her blackness, by lost souls caught inescapably in her dark attraction and blinded by her radiance in the sky. And now Chen Yu will read her translation.
黑明星作为对他的黑的蔑视，他被那些失落在他无法逃脱的黑色的吸引力中，和被他在天空中耀眼的光芒照瞎了眼睛的灵魂们，称呼为西努拉血友。
Okay, thank you so much, June. I just realized that did not share, so I am now going to share the image that we just read from. And let me extend it. Okay, can everyone see that? Cool. So I want to encourage you all to go to our Two Languages, One Community website to see Chun's full bio and also to chunu.org. For now, I just want to say that she is the author of the amazing book, Little Green, about her growing up during China's Cultural Revolution. She's also a scientist, and she was recently recognized as one of this year's Yerba Buena Center for the Arts 100, which is a great thing to happen for artists and activists in San Francisco. So thank you, Chun. I have the next poem that I'm going to read is in solidarity with the Asian American community, which is under heightened attack today, and it has been targeted throughout the global COVID pandemic. And I wrote this poem to your assailant who attacks us all in early 2020 in response to the violence and in a collaborative project with the Chinese Culture Center of San Francisco. And Chun translated this poem, and it can be found in English and Chinese and as a video, again, at our Two Languages, One Community website. To your assailant who attacks us all, do you call yourself God-fearing, devoted to do harm to others? Does your God condone your violence, your ignorance, your corruption? Does your God hate your neighbor like you do? Does your God share your love for prophets bearing false witness, fueling your grievance fever? Do you swallow the lies they regurgitate? Do you really need a reason? Are you truly a true believer of both God and golden calf? Does the all-knowing know you? Do they love you as you are? Does it matter that they are watching your naked depravity? Do you pray before you pray on innocence in this guilty world? Do you have your God's blessing, or are you as godless as you seem? Did your father teach you to beat the mean and main? Is he proud of your cowardice? Does your mother say, "Well done, son"? Did they train you in backwardness? Do you feel bigger in your smallness, content with acts of uselessness? Is your inner bully seething still beneath your concealed surface? Are you comforted in your criminality, stupefied by superiority, simply insane or lost? Who are you? And Chun will now share the poem in Chinese.
Excuse me for 1 second. I just want to say how important this poem is, because this is a very special time for both our communities. This is a time for crisis. We all know, both communities are facing a lot of attacks and discriminations for long history. I'm just so honored to be here. And Michael wrote this poem after I actually came back from China during the pandemic to come to fulfill the promise to do this event with Chinese Cultural Center with our Two Languages, One Community project. During that time, lots of Asians were facing really sad attacks. And so Michael wrote this poem. I immediately translated it. But in Chinese, a time of crisis, the word crisis is 危机. There's two characters. The first character means danger. The second character, 机, means opportunity. So I hope in solidarity, we see the danger, but we also see the opportunity to stand in solidarity and help each other. Hopefully our Two Language One Community project will always continue to unite us. So I give you this poem in Chinese. 致攻击你们的人，他们在攻击我们所有人。你自称敬畏上帝吗？ 你致力于己所不欲，勿施于人吗？你的上帝宽恕了你的暴力、你的无知、你的腐败吗？你的上帝像你这样仇恨你的邻居吗？你的上帝会认同你的带着假见证让你的愤怒不平不断发烧的所谓先知的爱吗？你吞下他们反复口吐的谎言吗？你真的需要理由吗？你是你的神和金牛犊真正的信徒吗？你那全知的神认识你吗？他们会爱这样的你吗？你在乎他们看着你赤裸的堕落吗？在袭猎这个有罪的世界上的无辜者时，你祈祷吗？你有上帝的祝福吗？还是像你看起来那样没有上帝？你的父亲教你去攻击、贬低和残害他人吗？他会为你的怯懦感到骄傲吗？你的母亲会说干得好，儿子吗？他们训练你倒退、落后了吗？你卑鄙渺小时感到更强大吗？你满足于自己无意的行为吗？隐藏在你的表面下的恶霸还在沸腾吗？你在被优越性麻木了的犯罪中受到了安慰吗？是疯了，还是迷路了？你是谁？ Thank you.
Thank you, Chun.
Thank you.
And thank you for your translations and your commitment to justice and peace.
Thank you. I so appreciate our collaboration. We will continue with our
take care.
effort.
Everybody check out the Two Languages, One Community, and also Chun's book, Little Green. So one of my poet mentors was the great Gwendolyn Brooks, the first Black to win the Pulitzer for poetry. And when I first read her poem, We Real Cool, I was a junior high school student in San Francisco. And of course, I was compelled to steal the book. That's how much I loved it. And I arrogantly also convinced myself that I could write a poem like that. Much later as an adult, I had the privilege of becoming close friends with Gwendolyn when I moved to Chicago. And I received my first award for poetry from her. And I used to tease Gwendolyn that it was her fault that I became a poet. This praise poem that I'm gonna read to her is in my second book, The Armageddon of Funk, and is also available at Moad. So that's something I want to encourage everyone to do, to go and purchase books from Moad. I have two available there. This poem is titled Her Words to Gwendolyn Brooks. An archaeologist, not a lexicologist, figured it out. The word was a woman, mingling among the aromas of Ethiopia, brandishing a painter's brush in a dig territorially defined by string. The archaeologist swept away ancient crust and sediment, finding language alive and agitated instead of the fossilized furor of a long dead Ramapithecus. Words wrapped in rhythm, pleasure, knowledge, and pain. Words as sharply defined as an Ashanti sculpture. Words of an African dynasty made of peoples not restricted to kings. Words that survived the Atlantic. Words that survived Atlanta. Words that survived migration, segregation, integration, and false resolution. Words worn as bracelets, amulets, and weapons. Words that were up long before they were down. Word up. Words that give more than she has taken. Children's lives reweaved first through her poems and then through their own words that could weave a world. I'm going to read a poem that I recite all the time because I like it. And I know that most of you have not heard it before. It's called Hallucinating at the Velvet Lounge. A few of you have heard it. Hallucinating at the Velvet Lounge, Chicago, April 25th, 2004. And the Velvet Lounge was named one of the top 50 jazz clubs in the world. And this poem was inspired actually by a performance by Malachi Thompson, the great trumpeter, and his collaboration with the poet that night, Marvin Tate. When Malachi blew his horn, I dreamed of cornbread, yellow mounds with burnt edges on the velvet's culinary altar. His sharp cut riffs morphed into squares of cornbread islands, floating in streams of warm butter, clinging to the ribs of my memory. Speaking in trumpet tongues of passages and uprisings, ancient pain and good times jiving, sacred beats and blues timing, drive-by crime and signifying, an opiate inside of oppression. A cratered chunk of bacon-infused sweet potato, chicken smothered, maple pecan, custard-filled, smackling, crackling, jalapeno-inflamed cornbread, the crepe of the slaves now sold at Whole Foods in this jazz-drenched town built of golden bricks and smokestacks, billowing fumes of corn on the cob and catfish, my mind lost in music and metaphysics, reminiscing the Sunday manna served beside my mother's succotash. All of the poems that I've read so far, including the next one I'm about to read, have actually been translated into Chinese. So this one is a poem that since 2018, I have continued to add the names of a fraction of Black people unjustly killed by the police to this serial poem, which is entitled What Not to Do, an Unfinished Poem. And although I only include a fraction of the names of those murdered, the full poem would take too long to read, and I'm just going to share a much shorter excerpt tonight. It's called What Not to Do, an Unfinished Poem. Breathe, Eric Gardner choked. Sell, Lucy's. Resist to death. Stand, Amadou Diallo in vestibule. Carry wallet, loiter while walking, look out of place, act suspicious, 41 fired, 19 bullets kill. Park, Tanya Haggerty on side of road. Talk, on cell on side of road. Shot on side of road. Drive, Philando Castile with broken brake lights. Carry, legal firearm. Announce you have a gun. Shout, not reaching for gun. Shot, 5 bullets, 2 to heart. Approach, Oscar Grant, the police. Beg not to shoot. Kneel, shot anyway, in back. Carry, Tamir Rice, toy gun, shot with real bullets. Carry, Remain Brisbane, prescription bottle, shot, 2 bullets to torso. Not carry, Keith Lamont Scott, a gun when told to drop it, shot. B, Natasha McKinnon, schizophrenic. B, superhuman, stunned while shackled, 50,000 votes to death. B, John Crawford, an imminent threat. Shop for Walmart air rifle. Carry Walmart air rifle at Walmart. Talk on cell phone at Walmart. Shot with real bullets at Walmart. B, George Floyd, a suspect. B, a 6'7" Black man. B, claustrophobic, asphyxiated, knee on neck while handcuffed. Run, Stephen Clark, the grandmother's yard. Carry, cell phone. Shot, 20 bullets fired, 8 hit, primarily in back. Jog, Ahmaud Arbery, shot, 2 bullets killed while hunted. Sleep, Breonna Taylor in bed, shot, 8 bullets killed. Sleep, Rashard Brooks at Wendy's. Flee for daughter's birthday. Point, dead taser over shoulder, shot, 2 bullets in back. Walk, Elijah McClain, home. Look, sketchy. Play music. Wave hands. Wear ski masks. Buy iced tea. Carry iced tea. Resist contact. Act crazy. Cry. Can't breathe. Beg to go home. Be superhuman. Be anemic. Be an introvert. Be suspicious. Be agitated. Be tense. Be on something, be medicated, be undetermined, choked to death, breathe. So I'm gonna end on a different note, depending on how much time I have. This is my poem, The City Speaks of This Moment, that the SF Urban Film Festival commissioned me to write in response to their theme for this week's festival, Wisdom Lives in Places. It's a virtual festival, and I urge all of you to go check it out. The poem was installed last weekend this last weekend in the East Plaza windows of the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. And this is the first time I'm reading this poem in public. The city speaks of this moment. Tears roll down my streets and hills as they suffer from emptiness. Some life has disappeared, some life has returned. Coyotes feel safer in the suddenly borderless wilderness and roam through my urban forest. I watch the white-crowned sparrows swell around now lifeless toll booths on a quieter Golden Gate. I hear them singing a new song. They hear each other sing above the din of silent traffic. Tents of disowned people come and go, thousands invisible in plain sight. They don't care that the cable cars have deserted me, that coffee shops have turned their tables upside down, that mask wearers are superheroes saving innocent lives, that 9/11 happens every day, that Black lives never mattered. They do not want things back the way they used to be. They have never been sheltered in time or place. They crave a new world, a caring, centered, healing world plagued by infectious sanity. I see the signs on shuttered eateries predicting that we will survive. Realists calculate not all of us. I hear them shouting on their soapbox from overpriced rooftops that some of us is better than none of us. I know from agonizing experience that we are lost without dreamers. I have burned down before, down to the edges of Venice Avenue. Faults have shaken and broken my body. Bridges cracked, towers toppled, chasms opened, hearts stopped. I have survived and recovered from overwhelming loss. I have rebuilt, although not for everyone. This time, it could be different. Okay, I need to do a time check. See if I can.
Got one more, Michael?
Yeah.
Great, please share it.
Okay. So I'm gonna continue, go back to the Africa theme. I worked as a foreign correspondent in my early 20s based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and actually visited the ancient city of Aksum as a journalist and the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, as well as the site where Ethiopia claims to hold the sacred Ark of the Covenant. But at the time, I didn't really recognize the significance of where I was standing. And it wasn't until years later I was back in the US watching a National Geographic documentary that was in Aksum. And I said, oh my God, that's where I was. And this poem is in progress, but it's trying to make up for that. It's called Back to the Ark, Aksum, Ethiopia, 1978 through 2020. On my return, I will leave my dogma at the door of the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. I will surrender to my once virginal curiosity of all things I do not know. I will revel at the rarity of an outsider inside this ancient kingdom presence, now knowing where I walk. I will respect the gray-haired guardian of the Ark of the Covenant despite his frail frame and seemingly antiquated weaponry. I will recognize the sacred tablet replicas in Lalibela's rock-hewn wonders as 3,000-year-old tethered nodes serving a mystical mainframe. I will interpret accounts of angels carving red rock megaliths at night as sightings of skulking astronauts. I will believe that the wisest place to hide an acacia tree is in a forest of 20,000 houses of worship. I will read the Giza liturgical symbols on the King Izana stone as code for our African origins. I will stand before the crowns of Menelik in awe this time, feeling their power under past and coming revolutions around the sun. I will blaspheme for a moment against historical materialism while traversing back through time. I will speculate. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, that was just an incredible set, poem after poem, and I really appreciated the collaboration that you continue to do with Chen Yu. Hearing the poems across languages was really beautiful, so thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
This has been wonderful, and I do encourage folks, please support Michael in his other readings, other projects, as well as buying his books of poetry. Again, we have 2 of them. We have A Poetry and Protest and We Are All the Black Boy, available at Moad. And then Michael, if you have any other events coming up soon that you want to share out, please do so.
Thank you. I'll put it in the chat.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again.
I should say that there is a reading tomorrow night celebrating Black History Month that the Revolutionary Poets are putting on. And so I'll share that information in the chat.
Great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be continuing our event with the rest of our open mic performers. So I'll put the second half of the lineup in the chat for folks. But I would like to give the virtual stage to Norm Maddox to start us off.
Hi, good evening. Wow, that was a tremendous set. And the open micers before that, absolutely touching my heart for sure. I have 2 pieces. This first piece is new, and surprised that it took this long to come out with all the tears during these times. This piece is called Tears. A moat surrounding my eyes, channel amniotic fluid through intrafacial aqueducts and furrowed brows, sight drowning in vision, smoothing wrinkles formed by too much smiling. An emotional moisturizer keeps complexion supple. Lanes of feeling image run down cheeks, taste like an ocean of music, deep enough to drown in baptism waters. Eyelid lubrication hides skid marks, blinking back one trauma that had to be seen to be believed and unbelievable simultaneously, like a chord, not an arpeggio. Llegando al mismo tiempo, ahora. Now, hearing every note like a drumbeat at the desert's edge. Better than cocoa butter on ashy joints. A cathartic shower. Soak it in it. This other piece, I started reading this just about a year ago, and it's called Will We Ever Again Hug? How will it feel to bow warmly, not knowing if your partner is bowing at the same temperature when you can't even see them bowing so deeply? Will a puddle of tears demonstrate how long you stayed in your bow, crying, seeing a loved one for the last time, maybe? Coming home from away, will your child have to crawl to a spot on the floor to show how glad they are to see you? Will mental telepathy be the new caress? Applying creative visualization, chanting a mantra to resonate the vibe that nourishes spirit? Will the body transmit, radiate, and absorb feelings without the biofeedback that reminds us we are one human being with every one human being. What you see is what you get. Could be the new greeting, hopeful that you are genuinely wearing your heart on your sleeve, painting a smile on your mask. Will ventriloquism become a new art form for whispering sweet nothings into your ear from 6 feet away? Will we become a society of voyeurs, watching others pleasure themselves while we do our best to reciprocate? Will a pivot in the psyche sustain the distance we are evolved to close? How long will it take before I can hold love in my arms again? Peace.
Thank you so much, Norm. Both of those were lovely, and it's always wonderful getting to hear the new poems that you bring to this space. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Janelle Chante. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I am a singer and an artist. Today, I want to perform a song that I wrote a few years ago called Queen. And the song is really special to me because it's about female empowerment and uplifting other women and just loving ourselves. And I just want to perform this song for you guys. So I'm going to play the music, and if you want to sing along, that is fine too. Studious, educated, she not the type to fool around or be manipulated. She got a strong sense of pride, no need for validation. She is a goddess all her own, shaking off them haters. She's shaking off them haters, ooh child. She's amazing, her body's like a work of art. She's a constellation, her melanin, baby, it sparks from here to outer space. Shining bright just like the stars when they are miles away. And cause baby, she's a queen, no mistaken, baby. Effortless beauty, she's a queen. She's a definition of, she's a queen. Skin stays hydrated, no time for stress, she cutting ties. If her heart ain't racing, woman with a heart of gold. She wear that loyal fragrance, she can feel it within her soul. She know she gon' make it, she know that she gon' make it. Conversation so deep, mind and body on fleek. Confidence like she just won the lottery. No need to wake, it's no dream. So for Sochi and sweet, energy contagious. Full tank, no issue for the sky, cause she's the greatest. Baby, she's a queen, no mistaken, baby. Effortless beauty, she's a queen. She's a definition of, she's a queen, baby. She's a queen. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, oh, now can be mad. Now can be mad, queen. Oh, now can be mad. Now can be mad. Energy contagious. Full tank, no issue for the sky, cause she's the greatest. She's a queen, no mistaken, baby. Effortless beauty, she's a queen. She's a definition of, she's a queen. She's a queen. La 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 la. Thank you so much, y'all, for listening.
Thank you so much for singing. You have an incredible, incredible voice. That was just so lovely to hear that piece. All right, well, thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Andrea Jacobo. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Oh man, that was beautiful. Oh, I love music. I love dancing. So that just got me into to my poem. So thank you so much for Moad and the space and all the poets and Michael. Wow, beautiful. I want to learn from you. I don't have a poem, I don't have a title, but this is Today in Dominicanisms. We explore La Chercha, translating the party to be at, because you know it's Friday, que hoy se bebe, and it's time to heal and dance, el merengue spirit filled with murdered feelings of challenges. From the week, music blasting the fried totones plátano gold, because my community taught me how resilience and resourcefulness are the elements of essential living. Bending our backs, twirling and navigating a system without you and I in mind. It also taught me you can be in the light while playing Brincando la Tablita in the darkness. My community taught me how pain lingers in the crevices of a smile, how you pull yourself from the bootstraps without the straps, trying to read the tools from El Sueño Americano to make your own strap, enough to give to el vecino de al lado. My community taught me that tíos and tías weren't really your relatives and protected you like they had the same mitochondria. It taught me parties were ways to channel the pain of dreams left on the keys, on the shores of the Key West. Beating the American dream in the bacapum, bacapum, bacapum of la tambora. Nothing like merengue on full blast, with glasses filled with romo and resilience, with the Quisqueyana gold. In between the songs, we look at each other, like the silent step of a side rock of a salsa melody, diciéndonos, telling us we're gonna get through it, hugging the navel of Bahia Rose, holding grass tightly to El Malecón. Thank you so much. And that was a piece that that's all I have for today. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear that piece. And there's such a melody to the way that you share your poetry that I really like. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Kim B. Miller. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, thank you. My name is Kim B. Miller. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, currently reside in Virginia. I'm the Poet Laureate for Prince William County, Virginia, the first African-American Poet Laureate for Prince William County, Virginia. And I will be doing haiku for you guys. What are haikus? Short poems, 3 lines, 17 syllables, sought in Japan only on nature and flowers, but we do non-traditional ones. All right, here we go. Haiku. It's February. Time for Blacks to be history again. Haiku. Let's Shakespeare up. To be shot or not to be shot? That's what Blacks question. Haiku. Red, black, and green are not the color of strength. Black don't need no sidekicks. Haiku. We are hashtags birthing other hashtags. Name your casket, not your children. Haiku. Dear women poets, they won't protect you. Poetry is not a verb. Haiku. Let's speak truth. Some of you were a virus before Corona came out. Haiku. Him, you ain't nothing. Me. I was nothing. That's why I picked you. Bye, boy. Haiku. Companionship is not a solution to pain. Don't give love a job. Haiku. Are you his queen or the head pawn? He's moving the pieces. Check your mate. Haiku. Stop answering the booty call and blaming the caller. You picked up. Haiku. In order for me to be a gold digger, don't you have to have gold? Haiku. Math ain't hard. Division can multiply hate if you add ignorance. Haiku. Kanye used to walk with Jesus. Now he's walking past strange fruit. Free, dumb. Haiku. Milk this fat. Stop getting your advice from a heifer that don't like beef. Haiku. How you gonna get over him if you keep getting under him? And I'll end with this one. Haiku. Strong women are not unbreakable. We just know you ain't the hammer.
Thank you so much, Kim, for all of your haikus. There's a lot of power in those short lines. Thank you so much. Next up, I would like to invite Sylvia Bullock. Welcome, Sylvia.
Hello. I would just like to say, what an amazing night of poetry. Wow. Wow. The name of this piece is Casanova Brown, and it is partially the song Casanova Brown and partially a poem that I wrote that is Casanova Brown. My baby's fine. He always keeps me guessing, but never keeps me guessing about his love. He has more girls than Howard Hughes had money, and you may think it funny when I say he loves me only, but who are you to say what he does when I'm not around? Just because I fell in love with you, Casanova Brown. I made a misstep, and I know it. I should never have fallen for a poet. This pain in my chest won't let me rest. I hate that I fell hard for all this mess, causing me grief, tears, and stress. Why I continue to fall for this is anyone's guess. Act 2, Scene 5. It's my command performance. My name is Clara Voyance, and it's all too deep. I was the one who said tune in tomorrow. I love to the bone marrow. Even when I am asleep, and who are you to say what I did when you weren't around? Just because I fell in love with you, Casanova Brown. Picture perfect poet's dreams, staking my love on starshine and moonbeams, taking me through these extremes. Our plans for the future were just daydreams. I can see you fuck her in my dreams. Her screams echo off the beams. Standing room only. The concert sold out. Everyone's there for the party. A hush turns to a shout. Everyone's got a piece of the pie of you and I. But nobody knows till the lights dim down that the tears fell hotter than the whole damn crowd. Throwing down my love was just about all I could do. Wasn't I the one who said I'd have my cake and eat it too? Just couldn't wait any longer. You pushed till I was through. I love you so. It hurt me, but I had to let you go. I cover my ears and rock, waiting for the voices to stop, waiting for the bubble to finally pop, racing ahead of that first teardrop. Thoughts spinning like a runaway top. Our love was a fable from Aesop. Lessons were learned in our little swap. Once a swan dive, now a belly flop. Sicker than a diet of peppermint schnapps, making this love with a phone and a laptop. If these tears don't stop, I'm gonna need a bigger mop. If I don't stop these tears, I'm gonna need a bigger mop. I thought I was home plate, not your shortstop. I saw you as the cream of the crop, and now you have put my love on full stop. That's that piece. Thank you.
Well, thank you for all that you've shared, and your voice, your singing, your poetry. Thank you so much. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite Kufikiri Imani. Imara, sorry. Welcome back.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Glad to be back. And just truly have to say I feel very honored and humbled to be able to contribute to the Stone Soup Opera creativity this evening, and just really blown away by everyone. Truly, thank you, all of you. I'm not the one who titles my pieces. Just kind of go into them, letting them be taken by the audience, however resonates. So I'm just going to jump in. Crack, crack, crack. The feeling of the whip on the back that makes the skin go snap. I say don't talk back. Pick this, lift that, wash this, build that. As a matter of fact, what's your name? No, forget that. I have something better than that. Chattel. And you can sleep next to the cattle. Human livestock was the first stock. Clap, clap, clap. The sound on the pavement causing the bereavement when the drugs get shipped in. Let the war on drugs games begin. Bars on the windows and you ain't even in the pen. Lies told about our people, and we believe them? What happened to the village we raise our children in? Attack, attack, attack. The sight you see in response to people who decide to fight back. Awaken to the truth of the lies that were portrayed as facts. The fact of the matter is, and always been, we are a people from a diaspora called African, the motherland of civilization, a soil so rich the world so has their hands in, but it's in weapons and not education. Wanting us to forget the divine proclamation that we are a people chosen. Facts, facts, facts. The flavor on tongues tired of lies that are stale and old. We are a people of the first people. From the earth we came, and back to the earth we'll go. Colonizers editing history to keep our story from being told? How many really know about Mansa Musa and his gold? They're quick to put your light out in a world so cold. You see, it was the truth, and not just us, that was being bought and sold. I offer a silent prayer for the ones that we can't hold. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that piece in this space and calling us all together in that way. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Naya Ryan. Welcome back.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Right now, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, and it's actually what this piece is about. This piece is called, Can I Go Outside? I catch the breath in my bones just before I look up. Oh, Lord, is this a good day? It is if I say, but if it ain't, I'ma make it so. I look up in the mirror before I go. I see Black, trans woman looking scared. That's me. It's a good luck day. I don't gotta tear myself down. And my eyes hold peace. So I don't gotta get the sage and smudge the house down. Is that me? Little too much swish when I walk, voice too soft, jazz coming out when I talk. Is that me who said I don't deserve to eat? And I didn't eat for days because I looked in the mirror. Me and myself agreed. Sometimes I'm scared to see the glory that is me. Now, hold up. Is that me? Speaking words so intelligently. Words flow like nature. It comes easily. Looking back so hopefully. Soul so deep, my eyes can't dream. Life bigger than hips on my body. Breasts round like my journey. Full circle. Waist tight like my business. I'ma keep it that way. Okay, I can go outside. It's a good day today. And the second piece is reflective of an inner argument that I have about holding the resonance of the pain of my ancestors and how hard that is for me at times. So it's a conversation. It's called Ancestral Song. Word of Baldwin, blood of Hughes, move in me, make my mouth the brew. I have heard the cry long ago A voice echoed in the wind like forgotten noise. I have heard and hated it. Let me remember the music between my ears again and know the song of the wind that sings and never stops singing, but from my ears to see, let me awaken onto you. So a message so wide and so wild, it knows no limit. And my ancestor answered me, child who is suffering, hear my cry. It is my call that won't let you die. I am the wind beneath the ocean floor, bubble to the surface, breathe air into the open. And I responded, break across the silence, your voice that wins the night and saves the day. Bring down the cries of the world into the sea. Let the air rise and be me, brave again, remembered again. The sound of the sea met with sin, then made clean again. Rub away my eyes, oh dear. Next time I hear the song of the world, play music into my ear. Thank you.
Thank you, Nia, for both of those pieces. Those were beautiful, and I'm feeling like that second piece, definitely feeling at peace. I really appreciated your words. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Dee Allen. Welcome, Dee.
Tonight, I'm going to do two poems in acknowledgement of American Black History Month. And to assist me in this endeavor, I'm going to use the share screen feature. Both poems come out of my third book, Stormwater, Poems, 2012 to 2016. The first one is one of these ekphrastic pieces inspired by a piece of artwork. This one is called The Forbidden Act. An oil painting on a coffee shop wall in Sacramento told a compelling story, albeit innocent on the surface. Georgia, 1837. After a long day's work cleaning the landowner's mansion and waiting on his privileged family, hand and foot, two black slave women returned to their cabin at sundown, lit some candles, and engaged in an act illegal in all southern states. One black slave woman of braided hair reached for a hardcover book she smuggled from the mansion one day. The other black slave woman with glasses and snow white head shawl sat in a rocking chair, ready for her lesson. One black slave woman led the tutorial. The other slave woman was led through two open book pages, lush garden paths of new words, new phrases, sentences, paragraphs that would throw the landowner, the overseer, and their way of life off balance if they were ever repeated aloud. New words, new phrases, sentences, paragraphs, signs of life outside the plantation. And the mold-seated slave woman's eyes scanned the open book pages before her. The more those tight metal shackles began to unlock within her mind. And suddenly she was finally free, if only her work-worn body would follow. By flickering candlelight, two black slave women plotted their quiet escape from bondage, lifelong darkness, through the most forbidden act of reading. And that first poem was called The Forbidden Act, inspired by the painting Learn Me to Read by Akinsanya Kamban. Can't find the real painting online no more, so that 19th century photograph was the closest approximation to it. That was from pages 15 and 16 of Stormwater. And the last poem is going to require 3 pictures. From pages 34 and 35 of Stormwater. This is called Rebel X. You have your X and I'll wear mine, exclaimed a controversial t-shirt back in the Clinton years, a short open letter addressed to the Nubian race. showcased a battle flag, the other red, white, and blue, flown in field skirmishes of an ancient war between split American states, North and South. The last Rhodesian in South Carolina, Dylan Storm Roof, had his ex pledged allegiance to it lovingly before he opened fire on 9 Black people in a Charleston chapel. The spirit of Dynamite Bob worked through him that Sunday morning, signifying secondhand separation and hate passed off as honor and heritage, popular amongst Southern metalheads and gun freaks and the Ku Klux Klan, the Rebel X. The Courage Award shouldn't go to an athlete, but a woman who, with both hands, scaled up a courthouse flagpole and removed from the top South Carolina's historic shame. Emblem of oppression, keepsake of a lost cause, banner of racism, reminder of slavery. Her action indeed took courage in a state whose whiter populace would rather see its blacker half back in chains. General Lee's seal, stars and bars, the Southern Cross, the Rebel X. And that last poem was called Rebel X, a poem for and about this woman here. Meet Bree Newsom, South Carolina-based news reporter and activist. That was the woman who scaled up that courthouse flagpole in Columbia, South Carolina, and tore down that Rebel X for the entire world to see. Back in 2015. And both poems are featured in my third book, Stormwater, available from Poe Press. From this computer mic to your ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is Black History Month.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you for that reminder. Every month is Black History Month. And I appreciate you using your poetry to share with us living history. I think that's important as well. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Lorraine Bonner to the mic. Welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, what an amazing evening of poetry and singing. My gosh, it was great. I'm going to read this poem that I wrote in part from hearing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez describing her experiences during the riot on the Capitol, in which she described how she had to escape, basically run and hide. And she also revealed that she was herself a sexual assault survivor, and how that compounded the trauma of the threat, which she's been getting threats forever. And this increasingly, extremely exaggerated threat, that much more enormous threat coming from this crazy mob. No shade on crazy people. There's a couple of places in this poem that are maybe a little triggering, particularly in the first stanza. And I'll just hold my hand up. And if I put my hand down, that means it's not scary anymore. There's a certain explicitness to sexual violence and sexual abuse in the first stanza. And then also some references to running and hiding, which may be difficult for some people. So this is for AOC. This is the first stanza. I was misused throughout my childhood. Listen to how I say it. I was misused. No, men misused me. Men tortured me. Men enjoyed it, filmed it for later enjoyment. Those men flooded my heart with a tsunami of terror, scouring out whatever it is people feel with, leaving a twisted maze of scars, unspeakably numb. Those men instilled secrecy into my bones with the guile of a chemist pouring acid into a vessel to make a bomb. Those men lurk in the shadows even today, and with them women who believe in them, and the whole world is shadowed. Hide in the closet, hide in the bathroom. Hiding is no escape. Escape, and the mob is waiting, baying like the sound of hounds through the shadowy swamp. Or quietly, smiling, telling you nothing to be afraid of, nothing happened, nothing is making your heart race, nothing, nothing, nothing. You owe the blue mob an apology. I owe my father an apology. There are women more courageous than I. One emerges from the terror closet, fist raised against the mob. She dares to tear the bondage of secrecy from her throat. I listen to my sister's testimony, and tears creep into my unwilling eyes. What if I feel something? What will happen to my ravaged heart, my dangerous bones? I witness my sister mirror me, and I am afraid. It's not safe to feel the rage today, too many layers of pain. But perhaps I can dare to speak, to risk my life as she is risking hers. The tears she has drawn to my eyes have deep roots. I follow them to a place deeper than the surface sadness, even to the wellspring of grief. Perhaps I can dare to feel that first touch, mother of grief, the source, soft against my ragged heart. Perhaps I can dare feel something like compassion for myself, for the captive, the shadowed world. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine, and thank you for sharing that piece and the vulnerability that comes along with that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next up, I would like to invite our final reader up, who will be closing us out this evening, the incredible Avacha. Welcome, Avacha.
I am, wow, overwhelmed. This is you folks. Wow. Anyway, everybody was so wonderful. Anyway, I want to say, Michael, you know I love you madly. It was such a wonderful thing to hear you. And Mijo Eduardo from Chicago, I miss you guys so much. Anyway, enough of that. For those of you at the poetry reading last night, forgive me, I have to do it again because it is Black History Month, and as several people have reminded you that every day we're in this skin and I'm this color, it's Black History Month. So, but for those who've forgotten, and for those who think that we only had one revolt among Black folks, I want to read this poem. It's called Never Alone. We have never been alone. Marcus Garvey, Arturo Schoenberg, David Walker, Ida B. Wells, Dessalines, and Queen Nzinga, and all those other incorruptible ancestors who showed their contempt for slavery and servitude by spitting in the face of evil, jumping overboard and freeing their souls, proud, unchained souls whose restless spirits still roam the ocean floor, stamping their presence on our dreams and minds and hands, revealing their essence and creativity all over the globe. We were never alone. Zumbia Palmares Cohuaya, aka John Horse, Harriet Tubman, and Argentina's El Negro Falucho, our brilliant, beautiful ancestors manifest themselves in life-saving rhythmic vitamins, I say, like samba, rumba, lando, and juba. They sing to us in daydreams and dream with us on stages. Their tears become our paintings, our books, our poems, and feed our self-esteem when life tries to get in our way. We will never be alone. Ya Esantewa, Denmark Vesey, Granny Nanny, Alonso de Yescas and Gaspachanga, the unstoppable warrior hero of Veracruz, reincarnated themselves each and every one of us. They reincarnated themselves in each and every one of us every day, said, hell no, we are here. We're free, and no matter what they say, we're here today and we're here to stay. We are the voice of the millions of ancestors' names we never got a chance to know. Ancestors who know that some of us are brave enough to know their truth, to know that we were born to tell their truth. Excuse me. Sworn to repaying their sacrifices every day with our actions. A sacred legacy written in blood, forever inscribed in our souls, a tattoo to never let us forget to remember the price they paid for us to know that we were never alone. We are never, never alone. I say, we will never, never, ever be alone. Real teeny one here. This is for the bomberos, for the Familia Cepeda, the oldest African music and dance in Puerto Rico. This family has worked for 7 generations to keep it alive. So first a little in Spanish and then in English. Para los bomberos, un regalito para la familia Cepeda. Tu tuntún, como una nota cósmica cantando en el viento. La esencia de tu presencia me encanta. Tu legado, un espíritu indominable me cura. Tus ritmos inolvidables me persigan y como una caricia de melodía de tu bomba todavía que me renace. For the bomberos. A little gift for the Cepeda family, your tuntun, like a note bigger than anything, singing in the wind, or the essence of your presence enchants me. Your legacy, your unbreakable spirit heals me. Your unforgettable rhythms haunt me, and like a melodic caress, it's always your bomba that brings me back to life. And last but not least, there's this is a short one. There was a beautiful restaurant in Berkeley that was owned and run by the darker side of India, folks from India. The Indian community did not support them, thanks to that lovely color care system, despite the fact they had all kind of rave reviews from the press and what have you. And the restaurant is closed, but we used to have a poetry reading there. So I dedicate this to them. It's called Our Haven, which art in Berkeley, dedicated to the Silam family and Priya and Poetry Express. Priya means beloved, and in Spanish, there's lots of ways of saying beloved, so I play word games with it. Priya, querida, beloved, amada, a sacred oasis where every meal spoke to me in song, conjured up word spells, tasted like legend, masala, magic, like the passion of Chatulal and Ravi Shankar, and pulled me willingly into a mystical history, a labyrinth of stories older than time. Priya Adorada, a North Indian poetry haven in North Berkeley where even the cooks, waitresses, and waiters rivaled the beauty of the lotus. And the art on the wall spoke telepathically to our souls again and again and again and again and again. We found ourselves pulled into the mystery of creativity, inspired every Monday like jasmine flowers to bloom in the night drunk. We came on the scent of imagination, curry and naan and chutney, hot spices enticing, a wordless language as old and as unexplainable as the Thar Desert and the Sarasvati River, as unforgettable as the Himalayas, the Valley of Flowers and the Taj Mahal. Priya, querida, beloved, amada, our North Indian temple of creativity where every meal was a sacred event, an inspiring literary nirvana, a spiritual maternity ward full of expectant poets, returning every week to give birth to poetic masterpieces, magical word babies, completely drunk and intoxicated on frankincense dreams, the culinary wizardry of Priya's kitchen and the beauty of listening to each other. Thank you for your ears. La Palabra Musical, come and support us. We're the 4th Saturday every month, the oldest multilingual poetry series. So check us out. Uh-oh. I lost my thing here. So it's not, I thought I had it, but I put it in earlier, or you can look at my website, avacha.org, it's there. So thank you. And support MOAD. This group of folks have done beautiful things, and you need to support them because when they open up, you got to see the real deal. Anyway, enough.
Thank you so much, Avacha, for your poetry, your words, your support. It really means a lot that you continue to come and contribute to this space, and all of you. This space is because of all of you and the words and the stories that you share. And so I really appreciate how we've been able to build community in this way. And so I encourage folks to continue coming to this event. It's an ongoing series that happens every other Thursday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. I will put the link in the chat for the next one. It will be on March 4th, and our feature is Joyce Lee. So I encourage everyone to come back and share in the space again. Thank you, Michael, for being our incredible feature. Thank you, Chun Yu, for reading with Michael. As Avacha was saying, we really do appreciate support for the museum. If you are able to financially give, we're putting information in the chat and about to be on screen. You can either donate through our website, which is moadsf.org, or you can use your phone and text the number 56512 and type MOAD-SF. Both of those are easy ways to give money to the museum and help sustain our dynamic programming. And last of all, we really do appreciate your feedback. We like to know how to best support our communities. And so we're sharing a quick program survey. If you can just take a couple moments to fill that out and let us know how we can best continue supporting all of you. And so I really appreciate all of you for being here, for listening, for reading, for singing. It's been such a beautiful night of art, and I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. What a great night. Avacha, congratulations on your feature last night. And tonight was awesome.
Thank you all for joining tonight. I'm really glad you were here, and I just loved so much the poetry that was shared. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Michael. This was wonderful.
Keep it
Pleasure to
up.
meet you, Michael.
It was so great to see you and hear your work, Michael.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Nia, for this platform.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good night, everyone.